What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video. It is Wednesday. It is June 21st, and we are back. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. Anytime a video gets at least 50 likes and you leave a comment and you are a subscriber, a positive comment and you are a subscriber, your name gets thrown into the randomizer, and you will win a free MLB DFS week if you're chosen. If a video gets 100 likes, you'll win a month. If the video gets 125 likes, you'll get a season pass. So, yesterday's video got it. So we are going to go ahead and look at what and who is going to be the winner. So good luck to everyone here. Everyone who left a comment on yesterday's video is on here. So we're going to randomize this, and we're going to go from here. So good luck to everybody. 1, 2, and the winner is Marquise Davis. Congratulations. Hit us up here on the video, like the video, and either hit us up on Twitter at advisors_team or hit us up on our email, dfshelp1@gmail.com. So what we do here is, if you don't know, we go through every game that's on the slate. So we're going to go through all of the pitching on the slate, some of the bats that we like on the slate. If you want to see a little bit more, I saw a comment yesterday, just BVP. It's not just BVP. We go through all of the pitching. If we went through everything else, these videos would be 100 or an hour plus, and you guys don't have a lot of that time for an hour plus video. So we're going to go through the pitching, break down the pitching. If you have questions, get those down below. If you need a little bit more help, we will dig in a little bit more on the website. We have updated the website as of yesterday. I will show you how to get to all of the information under the MLB tab on the computer after the video. So that being said, we are going to go ahead and break it down. So it's a Wednesday, so it's one of those slates where it is a split slate. We got some early games, we got some late games, or main slate games. Sometimes this is one you got to kind of pay attention to, because sometimes on Wednesdays, the main slate locks earlier than a normal regular 7:05 Eastern time. So that's something we've kind of got to pay attention to. But we're going to go through all of the slate here. So first game on the slate, Baltimore at Tampa Bay. Tyler Wells versus Taj Bradley. A lot of people liked Glasnow yesterday. Lit up. I think gave up 6 runs last time I looked at the box score of theirs. This is just kind of the thought. The Orioles are playing well. They're hitting. All of their young talent's up there. To be completely honest with you, with all of the pitching on the slate, I don't like either of these teams, pitching-wise. On the Orioles side, for the bats, it really just depends on who comes out there. Really got to wait for the lineup to come out for the Orioles. Looking at, and obviously up until, luckily this is like the first game, so the lineups will come out a little bit earlier, but looking at the possible lineup, Gunnar Henderson's always a good option for me. Adley Rutschman is, Santander is. I've been touting Aaron Hicks lately because he's so cheap. He's getting in there. He's been hitting well-ish. He's always, Hicks is already up to like 250 batting average from like 1-something with the Yankees. Hit a monster home run in the first inning yesterday. That's kind of what we're looking at. I like the Orioles as a stack against the Tampa Bay Rays. As of right now, until the lineups come out and the Vegas numbers come out, I don't really want anything to do with the Rays. We'll look at it a little bit, but I kind of like Tyler Wells. I think he'll be under-owned because it's against Tampa Bay at home, and I like the Orioles as bats here. Blue Jays at the Marlins is next game. Kevin Gausman versus Sandy Alcantara. Gausman, 51 plate appearances, a .388 batting average against them. We'll dig into the numbers just to see if that's inflated by a couple players. And then Alcantara here, 36 plate appearances, 19.4 K percentage, .212 batting average out of Alcantara. Just not pitching like we would like him to have pitched leading up to his last year, his Cy Young year. It's kind of crazy. Just looking at Gausman, though, he's had a really good he's ranked 18th overall in my season-long league. He's coming off a good outing against Texas. We didn't know how he was going to do against Texas. Got 6 innings, 1.5 ERA in there, 6 K per 9. So not the best. His K per 9's been a little bit down. He had a really good K per 9 back-to-back starts against Houston, Milwaukee. I don't mind him, but let's see if it's a couple bats. I mean, 417, 333. Luis Arraez, 5 for 6, 833, 400. These are all just singles. Then Arraez has a double. Garrett Cooper has a double, and John Birdie has a home run. I still like Gausman here. The problem with Gausman, though, he's not getting a ton of strikeouts. He'll have a couple of games where he does get a ton of strikeouts, and then he'll have some that he doesn't, and those fantasy points are the ones we need. So we need him to get some strikeouts here, which he is capable of. If you are not using Gausman, I don't see how you don't use Luis Arraez every single game. He's getting on base 2-3 times a game. That's kind of what I'd look at. Alcantara, on the other hand, he's got, Toronto's an enigma here. Like, they're okay sometimes, and then sometimes they don't hit at all. Alcantara coming off a really bad start against Washington, 5.1 innings, 8.44 ERA, 1.69 K per 9. His K per 9's been down as well. I don't know if I want to pay for Alcantara. He's not striking out a ton of people. Will I throw him in tournaments in case he does strike out? Yes. He will make some of my tournament lineups. But again, Alcantara is his price is still priced a little bit high for my liking on both sites, that I would rather take Gausman here and not Alcantara. You could take Gausman and maybe look at some of the Blue Jays bats, just depending who've had, seen them before. Bo Bichette's at 100 hits on the year, getting on base a ton. I don't mind him. Vlad against him, 5 for 7 with a double and a home run. He sees the ball well out of him. Again, it's only 7 plate appearances, so it's kind of something to keep in mind in the back of your head. Whit Merrifield, possibly, if he gets the start. He's been in our hits prop bets lately. So that's kind of my thought. Gausman over Alcantara, maybe a couple of Blue Jays bats, maybe a couple of the bats like a Luis Arraez here. I don't know if I'd stack either of these teams, though. Next game, Rockies at the Reds. To be announced versus Andrew Abbott. Andrew Abbott, maybe throw him in a tournament. He had a really good start or outing, his last start for his Major League debut. Looking at him against Colorado, I don't mind. Again, it's Great American Small Park, so the ball does fly out of there a ton. So I probably would still be stacking the Reds. Just depending on what lineup comes out, probably Elly De La Cruz. Now, with teams playing night games followed by day games, most likely some of the stars could be sitting here. Wouldn't be surprised if Joey Votto sits in this game, but if he doesn't, he's still a cheap option that I like. Elly De La Cruz, Votto for cheaper, Jonathan India, all come to mind. Just depending on what, pitcher Rockies do come out with. Cubs at the Pirates, Kyle Hendricks versus Rich Hill. Hendricks, he has had, 2 good starts in a row, had that no-hitter 2 starts ago against San Francisco. Went 5 in. He had a no-hitter going to the 8th inning, then he lost it. Got the W there. Last start against Baltimore, I didn't know if I'd like him, and I didn't use him at all. Yes, he went 5 innings, got the W. 1.8 K per 9. He isn't striking out enough people. He could, throw a no-hitter, but if he doesn't have the strikeouts, he's not getting a ton of fantasy points, and I am not on that. I will have zero exposure to Hendricks here. Looking at that, Rich Hill, 47 plate appearances, a 200 batting average against him. I don't know how he's still pitching. He is 97 years old. I'm trying to see. Facing his former team, I think he's been on the Cubs a couple of times. Rich Hill against Milwaukee, 5 innings, 5.4 ERA against him, 9 K per 9. Seeing if he's played the Cubs this year. He has not faced the Cubs this year. I like Rich Hill a little bit. If I'm taking a pitcher out of these two, I would be taking Rich Hill. In tournaments only, possibly SP2 on DraftKings. Really just depends. I'm not in love with the idea of putting him in there, but he's had success in the past. He's still somehow pitching effectively. He's getting the strikeouts that we need. Got an okay matchup against the Cubs. He'll be in a couple of my tournament lineups, but overall, I don't fault you for completely just ignoring both of these pitchers. You could look at the bats in these games, just depending, like a Brian Reynolds, Kutch against Hendricks, Brian Hayes. Flip side of that, Nico Horner, Chris Morel, Ian Happ. It will really depend on what lineups come out for both of these teams. I could also see you just completely avoiding this game. There's just other games that I like on this the whole day rather than these two. But that's my thought. I will have no exposure to Hendricks. I will have some exposure to Rich Hill. Next game, Royals at the Tigers. And like I've said in the past, anytime we've taken a pitcher against the Tigers lately, it's not gone too well for us. I have the same feeling about this. Brady Singer, I don't mind stacking against him. But again, at the same time, like, I don't feel confident stacking a Tigers team. His last start against LA, 3.38 ERA, 8.4 K per 9. He did face Detroit back on May 22nd. 3.2 innings, had a 12.27 ERA and a 7.36 K per 9 against them. Probably would look at the Tigers bats here. Again, not really wanting to stack, but if you are looking at some of these bats out of here, Baez as a very contrarian tournament option, I don't mind. Probably staying away from Miggy. Torkelson 3 for 9 with a double and a home run. He's an okay bat. Matt Vierling. Probably look at like Zach McKinstry. I would look at cheaper options here, but again, I they wouldn't be a primary stack. They would be a secondary stack. So on DraftKings it would be 2 bats. You could look at 2 bats out there. On Fanduel it would be 3. But I'm going to stick way away from Brady Singer. Maybe have a little bit of exposure to Matt Boyd and some of the Tigers bats, but I'm not going to be heavy on this game. Mets at the Astros is next. Tyler Meagle versus Christian Javier. Meagle's never faced them before. I don't think I'm going to take him. I'd rather take Christian Javier. 34 plate appearances against the Mets, 29.4 K percentage, 138 batting average. He's going to be expensive, so you're going to have to find those value bats, kind of like some of the Tigers bats or some other bats in here if you're going to take Javier in this one. And then Astros bats, it really depends on the lineup. Bregman I'm okay with, more of a tournament option there. Chas McCormick, Kyle Tucker, King Tuck, as someone stated the other day. Abreu, I don't mind. Altuve in there if he's starting. Maybe Mauricio Dubon for a cheap option as well. No real Mets bats that I'd be looking at as of now. Maybe when the Vegas numbers come out and the implied run totals for all these teams kind of helps make it. And then when we put our cheat sheet out there, you can check out the projections as well. Then the Diamondbacks at the Brewers. You got Zach Gallen versus Julio Teheran. Gallen, 71 plate appearances, 279 batting average. Teheran, 28 plate appearances, 167 batting average. I kind of like Teheran for tournaments, Gallen for cash. Teheran's been good since being called up by the Brewers, but the Diamondbacks are one of the hottest NL teams right now. It's really hard to feel confident about taking a pitcher against them just the way they've been, which is nuts. So Teheran coming in, got the W against Pittsburgh. Not a ton of strikeouts out of him. 6 innings, had a 6 K per 9 there. 3 ERA against them. I'm trying to see if he's played he has not faced the Diamondbacks yet this year. It's not in Arizona, so, a little bit of bump up to Teheran here. But again, I think he's more of a tournament option. Just not getting a ton of strikeouts for me, but he's giving them innings, and he's a cheaper option on the slate where you could build up the bats and still cash. Flip side of that, Arizona's so hot right now. I don't know how you don't take them as a stack every single day. Looking at them, a Corbin Carroll, Gurriel Jr., Ketel Marte at the top. Evan Longoria is a cheaper option. Let's see. I'm curious if Longoria has seen much of Teheran. It's been around a while. Yeah, 1 for 6. A lot of them are 1 for 6. They're all double, so they're extra base hits. But yeah, there's not a ton. I think you can get away with a cheap Pavin Smith option here. Ketel Marte. But if I'm building around Arizona and Zach Gallen, you got to have Corbin Carroll in there. I will have some exposure to Gallen and Cash, Teheran and GPP, but I'm more on the Arizona stack side. No real Milwaukee bats at the moment. Cardinals at the Nationals, you got Miles Mikolas versus Trevor Williams. Mikolas, 47 plate appearances, 341 batting average, 311 WOBA against him, and only 17 K percentage. And then Trevor Williams, I think we've stacked against Trevor Williams every start, I want to say. Almost every start. We stacked Miami against him the other day. 4.1 innings, 10.38 ERA, 4.15 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean, I will have zero exposure to Williams. I will be looking at the Cardinals bats. 90 plate appearances against Cardinals, 326. I'm going to have, if I'm stacking the Cardinals, I'm stacking at least Arenado, Goldie. Goldie 7 for 24 with a double and a home run. DeYoung is a cheap option. Wouldn't be surprised if DeYoung hits a home run. 7 for 21, 3 doubles and a home run there. Edmonds 4 for 14. Arenado's 4 for 11, 2 hits are home runs. Wilson Contreras, if he's in, 2 for 10. Those are doubles. Dylan Carlson 3 for 5 with 2 doubles. Had a home run yesterday. So yeah, you could make multiple different St. Louis stacks. A Goldie, Arenado, DeYoung, Tommy Edman, and then you want another stack. You go like a Goldie, DeYoung, Contreras, Dylan Carlson. You could even throw in Jordan Walker in there as well. So I won't have any exposure to the pitching on this slate. I will have exposure to the Cardinals bats. And then Mikolas, 341 batting average against him. Wouldn't be surprised if it's Lane Thomas. A 326, or Williams has a 326 batting average. Did that bring up the wrong team? Did that bring up the Cardinals again? No. Corey Dickerson, very cheap option if you're looking at the Washington bats. Victor Robles, 4 for 10. Michael Chavis, 2 for 5 with a double. Dom Smith, 2 for 4 with a double. I probably wouldn't use Dom. Probably wouldn't use Garrett Stone. Obviously Corbin, Luis Garcia. I would look at maybe if you want cheap options. So like if you're trying to pay up for these pitching, if you're paying up for the pitching on the slate, you can find some cheap options here. I like Lane Thomas, Corey Dickerson, Victor Robles for cheaper options here if you are. But again, I don't think a national stack is going to win you a tournament. Braves of the Phillies is next. A.J. Smith-Shawver versus Aaron Nola. Nola has let us down more times than he has not this season, and that is upsetting. He's just, not the same pitcher we used a couple of years ago. Is coming off a win, his last start against Arizona. 6.2 innings, 5.4 ERA. Did get 12.15 K per 9, so was striking out a ton there against Arizona. Got lit up by the Dodgers. Trying to see if he's faced the Braves this year. He faced the Braves back on May 25th. 6 innings, 7.5 ERA. This, if I remember, is where like Acuna has amazing numbers against him, I think. Is that right? Yeah, I mean, they've seen him a ton. Look at these plate appearances. Riley, 20 for 48, 5 doubles, 5 home runs. Acuna, 15 for 43, 5 doubles, 4 home runs. Marcell Ozuna. Yeah, this is where I'm stacking the Braves. I believe we stacked the Braves against him last time, and he got lit up, if I recall. So yeah, definitely looking at getting at least a couple of different Brave stacks here against Nola. Find the options, go the top 4 here. Then we can mix and match with Matt Olson, mix and match with Arcia. Michael Harris just won Player of the Week or Player of the Month, I believe, for NL. He's coming on strong. So yeah, I am going to be stacking against Nola. I probably am not using Smith-Shawver. I'm probably looking at stacking this game. I bet this game has maybe one of the highest over-unders once those Vegas numbers come out. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. If you are looking at some bats, maybe the Phillies bats that jump out. Obviously, Schwarber at the top. Seems like he's hitting leadoff home runs all the time. Wouldn't be surprised if a leadoff home run out of him. Maybe just depending on the lineup that does come out for them. Schwarber, I think if you are using Phillies bats, Schwarber has to be at the top. He's going to be at the top of the list, obviously. Trey Turner, Castellanos, Harper for tournaments. I still don't trust Harper for cash. Maybe a Bryson Stott here. Maybe even a Brandon Marsh if you want to get crazy. But I'm all over Braves. They might be my favorite stack of the day. Next game, Mariners at the Yankees. Luis Castillo versus, as of right now, to be announced. Castillo just faced them, was it 3 weeks ago, I think? I want to say it was 3 weeks ago. Let's see real quick. I'm pretty sure he had a really good game, too. Maybe he didn't face them. I could have swore Luis Castillo faced them. No, he hasn't. In his career, though, 91 plate appearances, 26.4 K percentage, 169 batting average, has pitched against them very well, and the Yankees are striking out a ton this year. I don't mind Luis Castillo against them at all. Wouldn't be surprised if he has a 10-plus K per 9 in this game. It just really depends on the lineup that comes out, but I'm all over Luis Castillo here against the Yankees. We don't know what pitcher is pitching for the Yankees, so it's kind of up in the air. And then Mariners bats, they won't jump out to me until we know who the pitcher is, and then we see some other numbers there. So I do like Luis Castillo against the Yankees. Oakland versus the Guardians, Paul Blackburn versus to be announced. I'm not in love with Blackburn in cash. Wouldn't mind him in a tournament. Probably only going to be using him in a tournament. Would like this game a little bit better if it were in Oakland, but it's not. And then we don't know who. If you aren't taking him, you could look at some of the bats that I would use for the Guardians. Jose Ramirez, obviously, any given time you're using Guardians bats. Maybe Steven Kwan, maybe Josh Naylor, Andres Jimenez there. But that's probably it in this game. Don't really like Oakland bats right now till we know who the pitcher is, but don't really like them overall anyway. Red Sox at the Twins, Garrett Whitlock versus Sonny Gray. I'd rather take Sonny Gray in this one. I won't have exposure to Whitlock. I will have some exposure to Sonny Gray. I don't like him as much as I have in the past, but I do like that this game is in Minnesota. So I would take Sonny Gray over Whitlock. Looking at this, 56 plate appearances, 23.2 K percentage, 302 batting average, but let's see if it's like one batter or not. Yeah. Turner's 5 for 11 with 2 doubles and a home run, so he's an option. Devers is an option. Verdugo's an option. All the lefties, and then Turner's a righty. But yeah, they're okay, but they haven't seen him a ton. But yeah, I'd rather take Sonny Gray in this one. I won't have exposure to Whitlock at all. I'll have zero exposure to Garrett Whitlock tonight. Rangers at the White Sox. You got Martin Perez versus Michael Kopech. Perez, 61 plate appearances, 423 batting average. Let's see who's had success. I'm guessing Eloy, Luis Robert Jr. I won't have Martin Perez at all. Elvis Andrews, 4 for 12 with a double. Benintendi, 4 for 10. Tim Anderson, 2 for 6, but he's looked bad this year. Luis Roberts, 3 for 5 with a double. Grandal's 3 for 4. Eloy's 2 for 3 with a double. Jake Berger has a home run. So probably avoiding Perez here. We'll look at some of those White Sox bats. I know Texas has been really good. Kopech has been pretty good this year. He's striking out a ton there too. I think he is an intriguing tournament option because I think a lot of people will be off of Kopech because of how good the Rangers have been this year. So I'll have no exposure to Martin Perez. I'll have some exposure to the White Sox bats and Michael Kopech. Then we don't know who's pitching for the Dodgers, but we do for the Angels. Ohtani. 18 plate appearances, so not much. I love Ohtani here. Striking out a ton. I think he's going to be pretty popular because of his name, but then people might be like, he's going up against the Dodgers. Maybe not. Kind of still I'm going to lean on Ohtani. No bats for the Angels yet until we know who's pitching. Possibly Ohtani, possibly Mike Trout, but they are going to cost you a lot. But I don't think you can have Ohtani for batting when he's pitching, right? So you'd be looking at Trout, and then that might be it for this game. Then the final game on the slate, the Padres at the Giants. Yu Darvish versus to be announced. A lot of to be announced this late in the night, waiting for pitching the next. But yeah, most of San Francisco's pitching is on the IL. Most of their starting pitching. So it might be a bullpen game. They might call somebody up. We're just waiting on that. Then you got Yu Darvish, 106 plate appearances, 305 batting average, 22.6 K percentage, and a 407 WOBA. So they've hit him well. But this is in San Francisco, which is a pitcher's park. We look at this. Yaz, 7 for 18 with 3 home runs. Cheaper option. Crawford, 3 for 16. Kind of been on fire lately and has a 0 ERA. Wouldn't mind him. Jock Peterson, 4 for 17 with a home run. There's a lot of home runs out of him. Lamont Wade Jr., Michael Conforto all have home runs along with J.D. Davis. So I'll have some exposure to Darvish, but I think a sneaky stack will be San Francisco on this one. And there you have it. Those are all the games, all the current pitching that's available, and some of the bats that we like. If you want to see a little bit more, we have it over here, Fantasy Team Advisors. So I've had questions. The MLB tab, you hover over MLB on the computer, and then it comes down. I need to change the color, but hover over MLB, hover here, come over here. We got BVP matchups. We got stolen base targets, contrarian stacks, our cheat sheet, our optimal lineups, our prop bets, our betting odds, our ballpark stat ratings, umpire factors, and the optimal stacks depending on what team is there. On the cheat sheet, or the optimal lineup here, you can see, and this is yesterday's content. So on the optimal lineups here, we have the lineups Once it loads, we have the lineups in here. Then at the bottom, we have the stacks, which you can find the stacks that we like each and every day. You can check that out. Then our home run predictions are right here, our boomstick shots, our home run picks. You can see the 3 advisors and how they've been doing. I'm in last place, but I will be making a comeback. So that being said, we have a ton of information there. $10 FTA Plus is $10 a month right now. It will, if you get in now, you will stay $10 a month until football season starts. If you get in after the All-Star break for MLB, it's $25 for a month, but that we're getting rid of this one. All-encompassing month pass, $25, includes NFL, MLB, and sports betting all in one. Or you can get the NFL season pass for $99. We'll save a ton of money there. Or a lifetime pass for $4.99. So that is what we've got for you. The website is FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Fantasy Team Advisors is the website. Thank you all for supporting this channel as much as you have. It's been awesome what you guys have done the past couple of months. We're almost to 7,500 subscribers making this video. Hopefully we can hit that today. Hopefully we all have a fantastic Wednesday DFS-wise. Good luck on the day. And don't forget, if you want to try to win another free option to win a free month or free week, all you got to do is like the video, be a subscriber, and tell us who's going to hit a home run, what inning they're going to hit it in, and the distance traveled as the tiebreaker. You can win that if you get that correct, and your name is called for. If you leave that comment, your name is automatically in the randomizer. So you could win 2 free weeks. If this video gets 100 likes, you could end up winning a month plus a week. If this video gets 125 likes, you could end up winning the MLB season plus a week on top of that. So good luck to everyone on this slate. Let's bring home some bacon. Peace!